This man robbed a dozen banks and stole $9 million. And the police never once even came close to catching him. And then he decided, all on his own, to give back every last cent and turn himself in. For love. He called the FBI to confess. And it was the most dangerous decision of his life, because the two agents he trusted decided to keep the money for themselves and pin a murder on him. They thought they were dealing with an ordinary thief, a quiet old man, easy to frame and throw away. They took his money, killed their own boss, and made him the scapegoat. They were certain he was nobody. They never bothered to learn who this man used to be. And once he was a Marine, a demolitions expert, the kind of man no one can stop. His name is Tom Carter. For years, he was a ghost the press nicknamed the thief who comes and goes. He walked into a bank, took the money, and vanished. Not a single shot, not a single victim, not a single trace left behind. He robbed 12 banks across the country and piled up $9 million. The perfect criminal, impossible to catch. But one day everything changed. His method was almost a work of art. He never rushed and he never got greedy. He studied every bank for weeks, knew where the cameras were, the pickup schedules, the guards' habits. He never threatened, never fired a shot. He was simply smarter than everyone who tried to catch him. For years, the police couldn't even figure out how he did it. To all of them, he was a mystery with no face. And a woman changed everything. Her name is Annie. Tom meets her at an ordinary storage facility where he rents a unit for his money. Something real ignites between them. For the first time in years, the lonely thief feels like he's actually living. A year passes, and they're truly happy. And Tom realizes he no longer wants to hide and lie to the woman he loves. He makes a decision no criminal is capable of. He wants out, for good, to start a clean new life with Annie. But he's carrying $9 million in stolen cash and 12 robberies behind him. So he comes up with an insane plan to turn himself in, to return every dollar in exchange for a light sentence and a chance to walk back to her someday. Tom calls the FBI and declares that he is the very thief no one could catch, that he's ready to give back all $9 million. But the FBI hears calls like this all the time. Every week, dozens of lunatics confess to crimes they never committed. The agents brush him off like just another crackpot. Nobody takes him seriously, and that will be their fatal mistake. Finally, two young agents are sent to check out the crank. Nivens and Hall. Just a formality, a boring assignment. They arrive at the storage facility, open Tom's unit, and freeze. Before them sit mountains of cash. Real millions, neatly packed. And in that instant, a very simple and very dirty thought is born in the minds of these two agents. Why hand this money over to the government? Nobody even believes the thief is real. No case has officially been opened. They could just take it all for themselves, and no one would ever know. Nivens and Hall decide to steal Tom's millions. In one instant, two guardians of the law become thieves far more dangerous than the man they came for. Tom quickly realizes something has gone wrong. The money he wanted to honestly return has vanished into the agent's pockets, and he himself has gone from a willing confessor to a convenient target. He tries to reach the FBI to explain what's happening, but the corrupt agents are already weaving their web, so he can never tell anyone the truth. And then Senior Agent Baker steps in, a seasoned, honest veteran. He senses something isn't right about this whole story. He starts asking uncomfortable questions, digging deeper, and he gets far too close to the truth about the stolen money. Nivens realizes if Baker finds out, they're finished, and he makes a monstrous choice crossing the final line. Nivens coldly murders his own boss, and then he does what he'd planned all along. He pins the killing on Tom. In a single second, the quiet thief who only wanted to confess honestly becomes the cold-blooded murderer of a federal agent. Now the entire country is hunting him, and almost no one doubts his guilt. The trap has snapped shut. The corrupt agents act brazenly and with confidence. They hide the stolen millions, scrub the paperwork, plant evidence. They've got badges, access to the system, and the trust of their colleagues, the perfect cover. Against the word of a wanted robber, their word carries far more weight. It seems they've thought of everything. It seems Tom has no chance of proving he's not a killer. Everything collapses for Tom. He wanted to start a clean life, and they've turned him into a cop killer. Worse still, Annie is now in the line of fire. Because if the agents are willing to kill to cover their tracks, then the woman who knows Tom is just another loose end to them. And this is exactly where something wakes up in the quiet thief that Nivens and Hall never suspected. Because Tom Carter is not just a thief. Behind him lie years in the Marine Corps and years working with explosives. He knows how to plan, how to calculate, how to strike right on target. He robbed banks not by brute force, but with a cold mind, and now he'll aim all that talent at the men who stole his future. The corrupt agents have woken a beast they mistook for easy prey. First, Tom gets Annie out of harm's way. He knows she's his most vulnerable point, and Nivens knows it too. A deadly game of cat and mouse begins, where Tom must protect the woman he loves and prove his innocence at the same time. One man against the system, against the badges, against the lie everyone has believed, but he has no intention of giving up. Tom strikes back, and he does it beautifully. He uses everything he ever learned. He blows up what needs to be blown up. He's a step ahead where they never expect him. He hits the corrupt agents with their own weapons. Evidence, money, the fear of exposure. Nivens, so used to his victims being afraid, feels the ground slip out from under his own feet for the first time. But Tom has another goal: to reach the ones inside the FBI who are still honest. He gets to Agent Myers, the partner of the slain baker. At first, Myers is certain he's chasing a killer, but the deeper he digs, the clearer the cracks become. The corrupt agent's story is falling apart at the seams, and slowly the hunter begins to realize the real criminals wear the same badge he does. Myers works the trail his own way, with a loyal partner, a K9 dog, and the instincts of an old detective. He notices what doesn't add up: the strange behavior of his colleagues, the holes in their statements, the money that appears out of nowhere. The closer he gets to the truth, the more dangerous it becomes for him too. Because men who've already killed one agent won't hesitate to kill a second. Nivens is desperate. Everything that was supposed to go smoothly is falling apart before his eyes. The quiet thief he planned to crush has turned out far more dangerous than any armed thug. He doesn't back down, doesn't panic, doesn't make mistakes. And so Nivens goes all in, ready to kill anyone to bury the loose ends. The stakes shoot to the limit. The danger closes in on Annie. Nivens decides to use her as bait, as leverage against Tom. And this is his biggest miscalculation. Because if there was one thing Tom would burn the whole world down for, it's her. A threat to the woman he loves turns the calculating thief into an unstoppable force. Nothing can hold back. Everything draws toward the reckoning. Tom gathers undeniable proof of the corrupt agent's guilt. Recordings, money, tracks that can't be covered. He sets up a final trap to expose Nivens in front of the whole FBI. One precise, calculated strike, the one he's fought toward through betrayal, loss, and slander. And this time, he won't miss. The finale of this hunt arrives. Tom lures Nivens into a decisive showdown. Two men face to face. The thief who wanted to go straight, and the agent who betrayed everything he ever swore to serve. The man who hid behind the law finally meets the man he underestimated. And all the lies, all the blood, all the betrayal converge on one final point. The reckoning catches up with the corrupt agents in full. The truth they tried so hard to bury comes out into the open. Baker's murder, the stolen millions, the framing of an innocent man, all of it is laid bare. Nivens, who felt like master of the situation, loses everything in an instant. The man he took for easy prey turned out to be the one who destroyed him. Tom's name is cleared. The charge of a murder he never committed is dropped. The real criminals are exposed and will pay for it. And Tom gets the one thing this was all for: a chance. Not freedom from paying for his robberies, but the chance to face an honest sentence and one day walk back to the woman he loves. He stays a man of his word, because from the very start, Tom wanted only one thing: to settle his debts and live honestly. He was ready to return every stolen dollar and go to prison for what he'd done. It wasn't his own sins that brought him down, but someone else's greed and treachery. And that's exactly why he came out of this war not as a broken criminal, but as a man who stayed true to himself and to his love. In this story, the truly dangerous ones weren't the thieves at all. It was the men who wore a badge and hid behind it to do evil. The real betrayal came from the side no one expected. And that, perhaps, is the bitterest lesson. Sometimes the ones who swore to protect the law are far more terrifying than the ones the law hunts. Nivens and Hall made one simple, fatal mistake. They looked at Tom Carter and saw only a quiet old thief, easy to frame. They never bothered to ask themselves what a former Marine is capable of when his future is stolen and the woman he loves is threatened. They woke the one man they should have left alone, and they paid for it with everything. So remember this story the next time you decide the man in front of you is easy prey. That this quiet, polite man can be tricked, framed, trampled. Sometimes behind a calm face hides someone who has you figured out 10 moves ahead. And when you take the last thing a man like that has left, you don't break him. You simply sign your own death warrant.